Mr. Andrews, nice haircut. Looking extremely Dilfy today.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst Riverdale quotes.
We make tickle videos for a guy named Terry.
My body is perfection, you crone.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most cringeworthy, badly written lines ever uttered on Riverdale. What's your favorite bad Riverdale quote? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. One more kitty in the litter box.
I'm sorry. Did you want to say something to me?
Don't get us wrong, the inclusion of Josie and the Pussycats in Riverdale is awesome, but she still delivers one of the worst and weirdest lines in the show. When Val is tired of Josie's domineering ways, she quits the Pussycats and decides to work with Archie instead.
Working with Archie, how?
Co-writing songs?
Josie quickly replaces her with Veronica.
Your hunt for a new pussycat is over.
Thankfully, Val and Josie make up, but in a super awkward way. The cat metaphor is creative, we guess, but why would Josie reference cat litter to welcome Val back to the group?
I suppose there's always room for one more kitty in my litter box.
Glad to have you back, Val. We'll make room in the poop box for you. Number 9. The serial killer genes.
Any guesses on which one of these men is the murderer?
It's the third man.
That's correct, Betty. How did you know that?
I don't know. Just intuition.
The early introduction of Dark Betty was an interesting way to add dimension to her character.
The truth, Chuck, or so help me, I will boil you alive.
There could have been a really interesting storyline about Betty's mental health, but instead, the writers just attribute it to what they call serial killer genes.
A specific set of genes.
They discovered that you have the MAOA and the CDH13 genes.
Also known as
Serial killer genes.
They try to make it scientific and official sounding, but truthfully, the whole thing just comes off as ludicrous.
You're like beautiful mind, but for serial killers.
The ridiculousness is brought home by the fact that the whole issue was resolved in a few episodes and not really ever mentioned again. Number 8. We make tickle videos.
So, what's the scam?
We make tickle videos for a guy named Terry.
Riverdale likes to inject some real-life topical subjects into the mix with its usual dose of fictional, broody teen angst, but this one was probably best left alone.
That's weird as hell, boys.
It was really hard to keep a straight face when Kevin tried to get Reggie in on the tickle business.
You have a great laugh. Nice and deep.
Poor Kevin is always susceptible to whatever dumb new trend reaches Riverdale. Reggie seems initially befuddled by the proposal, but after making some bank, he takes things a step further and suggests they start their own distribution business.
Let the tickle games begin.
And it's all downhill from there.
40%. Or you'll never tickle anyone, ever again.
Number 7. Justin Gingerlake.
Excuse me, this is a closed rehearsal?
Discovering a new passion for music, Archie goes to Josie and the Pussycats for help with his songs. But Josie rejects him while comparing him to a red-headed version of Justin Timberlake.
It's just
Read my glossed lips, Justin Gingerlake. Not gonna happen.
This might have been clever if Archie wrote pop music or was otherwise similar in any way whatsoever to Justin Timberlake. But he isn't, and frankly, this quote just doesn't make any sense. Josie usually brings the A-game with her ferocious quick wit, but sometimes her silver tongue betrays her. This is one of those times.
The Pussycats are building a brand, creating a signature look, okay? We're telling a story.
Number 6. We're Endgame, Archie.
I've tried every flavor of boy but orange.
Actually, to clarify, Betty and Archie aren't dating, but they are endgame.
This show really ruined the term endgame for everyone.
Dare I say endgame?
When Archie runs away from home to escape the wrath of Hiram Lodge, he ever so chivalrously calls Veronica to break up with her over the phone. She says this line while arguing that although they may need to be apart for now, things are definitely not over for them.
I saw our whole future.
Because we're endgame, Archie.
With Veronica's loquacious way with words, you'd think she could have come up with something more imaginative. What was meant to be a grand declaration of love just feels contrived. Have Riverdale's writers heard actual people talking?
But maybe you and me are meant to be together. Maybe we're endgame.
Number 5, Bear Attack. Speaking of Archie running away, his journey doesn't last long. He ends up being mauled by a bear.
I need help. I've been attacked by a grizzly. I'm in bad shape.
Don't worry though, he gets better, sleeping it off and waking up with a new sexy scar on his chest to add to his collection. Then he just returns home.
What? What's wrong, son?
It's a long story.
But wait, isn't Hiram Lodge still out to get him? That's exactly what Fred Andrews asks his son, but Archie has a casual, worry-free response ready.
What about Hiram?
I survived a bear attack, Dad. I can't live my life in fear of when he might come after me anymore.
Apparently being attacked by a bear made him invincible. Who knew that confidence and safety could be so, easy to find? Number 4, do you know whose blood this is, Mommy?
Claudia's? Is that you?
Cheryl is famous for being overdramatic, and this speech is the perfect representation of that. Inspired by the Riverdale High's production of Carrie the musical, Cheryl decides to confront her mother about all of the terrible things she's done.
You know whose blood this is, Mummy? This is Jason's blood. This is Daddy's blood. And the next blood to be spilt will be yours.
She goes to her mother drenched in blood and basically threatens to kill her if she doesn't give Cheryl the mansion and get out of her life.
If you so much as pluck one hair from Nana Rose's little head, I'll end you.
What's supposed to be a really badass Cheryl moment comes off way more funny than it does intimidating.
Start packing, Mummy. You and Uncle Claudius are pig people and should live amongst the pigs.
She just keeps saying blood over and over again. Number 3, Dilfy. Long before Cheryl became one of the best characters on the show, she was actually a bit of an antagonist to the main 4, even close to being a villain.
This should be fun.
That's really the only explanation for why this line ever came out of her mouth.
Mr. Andrews, nice haircut. Looking extremely Dilfy today.
For anyone who is unfamiliar with this term, DILF stands for Dad, I'd like to, well, you can guess. Can you believe Cheryl actually said this to Archie's dad? So inappropriate. Yes, Cheryl is the kind of person that says exactly what's on her mind, but for this one, she probably should have just kept it to herself.
Will this beautiful, exotic hothouse flower drown under the town's scrutiny or be swamped by her emotions? The answer, ladies, is no and no.
Number 2, I'm a weirdo.
You and Archie are my friends, okay? Everyone else, including Kevin, including Veronica, are people that 2 months ago I would have actively shunned.
Why?
We already knew Jughead was a peculiar fellow with a dark sense of humor.
Sardonic humor is just my way of relating to the world.
But just in case we missed the memo, Jughead offers us this monologue as proof. When Betty throws him a party for his birthday, he doesn't appreciate the festivities and launches into a rant about how she should have known better because he's not normal.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on?
Coming off as way more comical than intended, Jughead's weirdo speech has become somewhat legendary. You gotta wonder, is this the way the Riverdale writers talk at home? That would be weird.
You're a good writer, bro.
Wait.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. My Body.
As for your muffins, can I suggest a little less time baking and a little more time in the weight room? My Body is perfection, you crone. And you may be the coach, but I think you'll find the Vixens are mine. Forevermore.
Cuckoo Bananas.
You mean like move in with you?
I'm cuckoo bananas for you, Humphy.
Tangerine.
Tangerine. Tangerine.
Daughter of the Black Hood.
I am the daughter of the Black Hood, the nightmare from next door. I'm training with the FBI, and I'm coming for you, you psycho bitch.
Warrior Queen.
No, don't you dare tell me that it's too dangerous, Jug. The Serpent Queen is a warrior queen. So if you're on the front lines, so am I.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The epic highs and lows of high school football.
Let's show them there's another way.
What way's that?
Get ready to cringe so hard your face implodes. Archie is trying to rally together his fellow inmates at Leopold and Loeb to play football as a way to stick it to the man. To this end, he attempts to deliver an inspirational speech.
I dropped out in the 4th grade to run drugs to support my nana.
When one inmate challenges Archie, his response manages to be both melodramatic and tone-deaf.
That means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football.
We don't think that football is the answer to this kid's problems, Archie. The whole scenario is ridiculous, and Archie's belief that he has a simple solution just comes across as privileged and naive.
Well, if you promise to never bring up the epic highs and lows of high school football again, I can ask Tabitha if she's willing to sponsor the team.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.